You know Lily-Rose Depp. She was just in Nosferatu, which is a wildly popular movie. But you might also know Lily-Rose Depp from her breakout role in none other than The Idol.
I love you, 'cause you're loyal, baby. I love when you're submissive. You love it when I break skin. You feel pain without flinching. So say.
But before she was in Nosferatu or The Idol, Lily-Rose Depp starred in a much lesser-known horror film. It came out in 2016 called Yoga Hosers.
Oh, jeez.
I'm talking about your entire generation. Generation why me, I call it.
You live on your phones. You have no idea how to function like normal people in the real world.
Miss Wickland, this isn't the real world.
This is Canada.
Welcome to Big Name Bad Movie, the show where we talk about A-list stars and their worst films. I am your host, Cameron, and joining me as always is my co-host, Joe.
Yep,
Joe, tell us about Yoga Hosers.
Yoga Hosers is a 2016 Kevin Smith movie starring Lily-Rose Depp and Harley Quinn Smith. It's a double Nepo baby feature we got here.
Yeah. Those bring out the best in film, as we all know.
Oh yeah, and this is a classic. It's a classic case of like passion project that's like very niche. It's not for a wide audience. Kevin Smith in Entertainment Weekly talked about how he expected this movie to flop. He knew it was going to make his money at the theater, and he had a quote where he said, "My hope with this movie is that some 12-year-old girl is like flipping through Netflix one day, finds this movie and is like, oh, this is totally up my alley. This is my kind of thing." But he knew it was going to be a flop from the get-go. So we're kind of grading this movie slightly differently because it's a movie that was never intended to reach a wide audience.
Sure. I feel like that's how all of Kevin Smith's movies are, but it's also like you could just say that after the fact and be like, yeah, no, I meant it to be like Tommy Wiseau with The Room, you know? Well, it's however you want to interpret it.
You just don't get it.
Yeah. It's funny. It's sad, whatever you want.
What do we think? So this is a Lily-Rose Depp episode. Going into this, what did you see in Lily-Rose Depp in?
There's the only thing that comes to mind is The Idol right now. I can't think of anything else. But The Idol. I feel. Let me maybe cut this out. But I'm trying to think.
I know her for dating Timothée Chalamet.
Oh, did they date?
Yeah, they dated. They dated, and then I know that she's dating or
she walked so that Kylie Jenner could
run. Yeah, I know that she's in a relationship with 070 Shake.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, I did know that. Actually.
Which I rock with her music a lot.
Yeah, love her.
Cut to
them,
her. I don't know. Cut to 070 Shake freaking out at that concert. Did you ever see that clip?
They trying to fuck me up! Play that shit one more time! Fuck!
Oh,
throwing
I
a
heard
huge
about
tantrum.
that, but I don't think I've seen it.
Hilarious.
So I have seen Lily-Rose Depp in another thing that we were going to do a Colin Farrell episode that we just decided not to. But it's called The Voyagers. She's fine in that. It's fine. It's like these like test tube babies that are like in a spaceship together. Like, because they're being sent
That's
to
kind of what this is, I feel like.
Yeah. We're
couple-
test tube babies.
in a spaceship.
Yeah. Anyway, it's not a great movie, and that's why we didn't do an episode on it. But, it's that's another thing I've seen her in, I guess.
Oh, yeah. Okay, well, so let's give the overall premise of Yoga Hosers. So this is a spin-off movie from Kevin Smith's previous movie, Tusk. Yoga Hosers is a movie centered on two girls named Colleen. They're 15 years old.
Right, yeah, they have the same name.
They have the same name. They're 15 years old, and they work at a gas station together called the A to Z, and it's kind of a Canadian pun there.
Yeah.
And this is in the wake of the monster attacking the town in Tusk, which neither one of us has seen Tusk in its entirety, so we won't really go into that.
It's like the spiritual sequel to it.
Yes.
I mean, it is. It's kind of like an anthology thing. Where, like, they take place in the same
universe, same characters.
Apparently there's another one called like Moose Knuckle or something that's coming out.
Yeah.
What's it called?
It's called Moose Jaw, but I like it. I like it better if it's called Moose Knuckle. Cropped up with my biker shorts, I'm showing off my moose knuckle.
True.
Cut to Glorilla.
Shout out Glow.
I think this movie is interesting. It takes a turn. There's these two girls are in a band together. They're in high school.
They're in like a spoken word rock band.
Take no shit, and we don't care for writing hits. The sound you hear is what we like. And I'll steal your puppet. It's like I stole your socks. Yo, man, what's the matter with you? Sorry, I'll get it next time, I promise.
It's a unique style of music for sure.
Yeah.
And then Austin Butler is a fellow high schooler, and he's a Satanist.
Wait. We have to talk about real quick the what's the guy's name? Matthew. What's the drummer's name?
Oh, Adam Brody.
Yeah, Adam Brody. He's like 35 or something, and he's like jamming out with these high school girls.
Yep,
It's weird as fuck.
It is weird. He's like a tattooed Canadian middle-aged or approaching middle-aged guy.
And like in universe he is as well. Like he's like an older guy, and do they like address that? Like how
they're
creepy
like
it is?
the girls are constantly teasing him, so he's in like a very abusive sort of friendship with these two teenage girls who are just roasting him all the time.
Yeah.
I like that part. I thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah. It's silly. I mean, it's just another silly thing.
This movie is Austin Butler is a fellow high schooler, and then it turns out he's a Satanist, and the movie takes a weird turn from there and involves a lot of Nazi stuff, but I feel like we should save that for the actual in-depth plot discussion, because you're going to want to stick around for that plot twist. It's pretty unique.
Yeah, it's certainly interesting. I mean, Austin Butler, he's looking his best, honestly. He should have had that hair in Dune 2.
Fade Routha with like a man bun.
That would honestly, I mean, if they didn't go with the bald aesthetic for all the Harkonnens, I think the man bun would have been an equally menacing getup.
Fade Routha just like looks like he works in a crystal shop.
Oh gee.
Oh jeez. Everyone's got bad Canadian accents in this movie. It's pretty great. So in terms of the plot, we open on a scene with the two Colleens. Both the girls are named Colleen, Lily-Rose Depp and Harley Quinn Smith, and they're playing in the back room of the gas station with Adam Brody, who's in his 30s. There's a little back and forth there, and I literally put in my notes, he's a grown man who chills with teen girls. So our minds
I wrote Adam Brody is in the Beastie Girls with minors.
The Beastie Girls with minors?
Like Beastie
Yeah, I like
okay.
that.
All right.
Little detail, so they work at the A to Z gas station, and instead of cigarettes in the back counter, it's just stacks and stacks of maple syrup.
It's very like, I don't know. Kevin Smith, is he Canadian? Do we know?
No,
that?
he's from New Jersey.
Okay. So it's like he's definitely appropriating Canadian culture.
For sure.
Just harping on those stereotypes.
I think this part of this has to be the fact that Kevin Smith is a like diehard massive hockey fan.
Oh, true.
He's like a huge hockey guy, and grew up playing hockey and stuff. So I'm sure that he has some sort of affinity for Canadian culture, because obviously hockey's
and he's
big.
always wearing that jersey. Listen, dude,
the jersey with the blazer.
Yeah,
dripped out.
Yeah.
Austin Butler enters. His name's Hunter. The character Hunter Calloway enters, and the girls are like, "Oh my gosh, it's Hunter Calloway!" And he's like the hot guy,
accompanied by Teen Wolf.
Austin Butler invites the two girls, the two Colleens, to his senior party, his grade 12 party. He's like, "Girls, we're throwing a rager. Come party with me." And they're like, "Oh my gosh, this is the big moment." They're super hype on being invited to Hunter's party. We then cut from the gas station to Justin Long's yoga studio. Justin Long is a yoga teacher, a yogi, if you will, and the studio.
He doesn't play the titular Tusks in this movie.
Different role entirely.
Different role entirely. Harley from Epic Mealtime is in both of them as well, I think, as different people.
A lot of little cameos here.
Yeah.
Justin Long's character's name is Yogi Bear, as in...
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah,
I didn't realize
his name is Yogi Bear, as a pun on Yogi Bear.
Right.
And there's a scene where in the yoga studio, the two girls, for some reason, they're always just the only two girls in the yoga class. Mm-hmm. So it's just the two teenage girls, and again, a grown man.
Right.
Which is kind of funny, because it's like he's doing like a private lesson for them, and he is giving them a lot of weird yoga poses.
Yeah, weird yoga. Not like in a way that's like, I want to see these teenage girls.
Yeah, it's not creepy.
But it's like this very 2010 coded, like, haha, like yoga is dumb type thing. I feel like it's very like, what was it? It's like not real moves. I'm trying to remember.
I wrote two down. Atlas Shrugged was one of his yoga moves.
Yeah.
Atlas Shrugged. Atlas Shrugged. We go Atlas and then we shrug.
This one cracked me up. I will honestly say, I know it was 2010 coded. I did crack up a little bit at Justin Long's delivery.
It's corny, but like it's supposed to be, so it's all right.
It was pretty funny. He says lasers from wrists.
Lasers from the wrists. Lasers from the wrists.
And it's like clear that Justin Long is just riffing, and I thought that was pretty funny.
So this may have been a yoga pose that he said. I have no idea why I put this in my notes, but take a ride on the bouncy house.
Oh no, that's later. That's Tony Hale's character.
My bad.
Yeah,
Sorry.
no, that's a good one.
I have no idea why I put that in the notes.
That's coming up. So Yogi Bear is in the studio with the two girls, and it's just establishing that they have this affinity for yoga, and they really enjoy practicing yoga. That's the whole point of this scene, and you get a couple of chuckles from old Justin Long. We should say at this point, in terms of being 2010 coded, every time a new character is introduced at this point in the movie, we have like a freeze frame. And then like it's supposed to look like a social media post. So like when Hunter enters the room, it's like freeze frame, and it's like Hunter Calloway, XOXO, super dreamy. And then it shows like Yogi Bear, and it's like Yogi Bear, like, you know, in touch with his, you know, whatever.
It definitely feels like a, not literally super bad, but something like that is like, I don't know, like you said, 2000s or like early 2010s coded.
And it's very much trying to be like girls in social media. Girls like posting on social media.
Hashtag social.
Which girls do be doing that.
Girls do be socialing. Yeah.
They do be doing that. So then we go from the yoga studio to one of the Colleen's houses. I think it's Lily-Rose Depp's house. And we meet her dad, who's played by Tony Hale.
Love him.
Amazing. And he's very funny in this movie.
He is.
And his girlfriend is Natasha Lyonne.
Right.
Is it Leone or Leone?
It's Leone, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Natasha Lyonne, who's also hilarious. And they have a funny relationship.
I think she is miscast in this just because she always... How do I say this without being offensive? She is a little queer-coded to me. I get that. Let's not.
No, we're keeping it.
No, let's not leave that in. But I don't know. She's very, because she's gay in American Pie, or maybe in like the later ones. I don't know. But I don't know. She has like a very like.
She gay in real life?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, it's very funny to me because she's like this dumb person that Tony Hale is like smitten with. And they're not married, I don't think.
No, the dynamic is Tony Hale owns the gas station, Lily-Rose Depp's dad. Mm-hmm. He owns the gas station that they work at, and Natasha Lyonne's character is the manager of the gas station, who it's implied is a little bit younger and is kind of just like climbing the corporate ladder of the gas station by sleeping with the owner.
Yeah. I'll take back what I said. It's not that she's queer-coded, it's just that in this... She is just like such a bubbly character, and that's just not something I've seen her in before. And I don't know if it really works for me. It's a little distracting because she's just very, I don't know. She's very much not that. Like, I don't know if you've seen Russian Doll. She's in that. I haven't seen the second season, but in the first season, she's like very like low key, like sort of straightforward type. No pun intended. She's like very straightforward or whatever. Not gay. She's like straight in the show. But I feel like a fucking idiot right now, but it's fine.
Nobody's gonna hate in the comments.
Anyway, like it's just a very different role than I'm used to seeing her in. It's kind of distracting.
Yeah, I feel like I disagree because I feel like she plays trashy so well. And I feel like she nails like a certain trashy vibe that now I will say she's a little miscast in that she's doing a Canadian accent, but I can still hear her like New York accent.
Same with Tony Hale a little bit. But like that's like what it's supposed to be. Like even Lily-Rose Depp and other girl, their Canadian accents like kind of fade in and out.
Yeah, they only do a Canadian accent when it's funny.
Yeah.
Lily-Rose Depp tells Tony Hale, I thought this was kind of a funny moment. She tells Tony Hale, like, he says, I'm going to go in the bedroom with my girlfriend and we're going to watch a movie. And Lily-Rose Depp's like, leave the door open. And then Tony Hale goes into the bedroom and Natasha Lyonne's waiting for him there, presumably to have intercourse. And she's like, close the door, sweetie. And he's like,
close the door.
And he's like, but she told me not to. And she's like, you're the parent. And then to lure him into the bed to seduce him, that's when the bouncy house line comes up.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Take a ride on the bouncy house.
She goes, come on, you want to take a ride on the bouncy house? And then he's like, I do want to take a ride on the bouncy house. And The scene on paper is probably not that funny, but Tony Hale and Natasha Lyonne, it's hard to go wrong.
They're great.
It's hard to go wrong with them. They're very funny. Then we cut to the girls at school now. They're at their preparatory school, and they're sitting in history class. And we get another cameo here, this time from Lily-Rose Depp's mom, the French lady, who's the history teacher. That's Lily-Rose Depp's mom.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, so she has a little cameo here, and she's explaining, like, very succinctly and very well explaining how fascism arises in a population, which I thought was like kind of took me off guard a little bit. I was like, this is a really great explanation of xenophobia and fascism in this stupid movie.
Well, but it's also alluding to what we get to later. It doesn't really have any like thematic consequence, I guess.
No.
But, yeah.
The history teacher's explaining how Canada embraced fascism around the time of World War II. And there was a Canadian Nazi party that ended up kind of coming to power in Canada, but never really like fully reached its peak.
Yeah. Haley Joel Osment led the Canadian Reich.
Yeah, and he's doing. I loved Haley Joel Osment in this role too.
Yeah, he's great.
He's so dumb, and he's explaining Nazism to a crowd of like 6 people.
Right. Yeah.
And he's like trying to get them on board. And he's
I
frustrated.
love how it's like they like. When he starts talking about like nationalism and like being a Nazi, that's when they freak out. But all the while, there's this giant swastika behind him.
Yep.
It's like you didn't know what you were getting into when you were listening to him.
He's explaining the master plan is to round up all the Canadian Jews and then send them out into the river and fire cannons at the boats.
Right.
And everyone's like, huh, okay. And then like, you know, towards the end of it, they're all like, oh, this is not. And he's like, you should be applauding. This is a great idea. This scene only exists as setup for the plot. It really has no bearing on like the characters whatsoever, but it's setting up the idea that at one point there were Nazis in Canada,
which is real. There's a real guy.
Sure. And
he was a real guy.
The Haley Joel Osment's character?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that.
At least either him or the Nazi, one of them is a real guy.
Okay, so we had it's a little history lesson here.
Yeah.
Then the girls are in school in the library, and they are approached by Guy Lapointe, played by Johnny Depp,
Lily-Rose Depp's father.
It's a family affair.
The nepo to her baby.
Also, earlier in the film, we meet one of the Colleen's moms, and that's Harley Quinn Smith's mother, Kevin Smith's wife.
Oh, okay.
So she's the one who's like, you're not going to a grade 12 party with those
that
boys.
Scene where they're like talking about periods and the guy in the booth near them is like throwing up.
Yeah. Gross.
Ew, girls.
So yeah, the point is this movie's a family affair. We got the parents of both the kids in the movie. Yeah. All 4 parents are in this film. So yeah, they're sitting at the library. Guy Lapointe, played by Johnny Depp.
Jonathan Depp
approaches. What do you think about this scene?
I mean, I love his voice. I think it's funny. Like he's doing a stupid little French
kind of French Canadian thing.
Kind of French, kind of just like dopey guy.
The bad news is, regrettably, some naughty student has decided to deface it by changing the word "gay" and adding an A so that it says "gay."
This scene goes on way too long, but it's just stupid. It's clear that it's just Johnny Depp like riffing, and the point of the scene is that he's explaining to the girl. He approaches these girls in the school library and is like, he's like, "Have you seen this man?" And he shows a picture of one of the guys that was in the gas station earlier in the film. They're like, "Yeah, we spotted him," and he's like, "That guy's been murdered." And he explains that somebody has killed somebody in this town, and there's something's amiss in the town. And that's basically the point of the scene. It goes on for a really long time. It's a lot of riffing, but Guy Lapointe, Johnny Depp's character, is a manhunter. He's sort of like an ace detective who's regarded very well all across Canada for his ability to solve crime. And the girls end up back at the house where Tony Hale and Natasha Lyonne's characters are going to Niagara Falls, and they're going to make the girls work that night, which means they're going to miss Hunter's grade 12 party. This is a big problem for the girls.
Brutal. Yeah.
I think Tony Hale also really shines in this scene because he's playing like dad who's really horny but like doesn't want to say it like in front of the kids, but he's like so excited that he's getting this like vacation with his girlfriend.
Yeah. Because he's very like, I don't know, not cucked, that's the wrong word, but like by his daughter, who like is like just constantly cock blocked by his daughter.
Yeah, not cucked by his daughter.
Yeah. That's not the word.
That's not the word you were looking for.
Jesus.
The girls are working that night at the A to Z gas station, and they call Hunter, and they're like, "Hey, why don't you come party here at the gas station with us, since we're not allowed to go to your party?"
And we cut to them on the phone. They're just like outside, like in an alley or something like that, just kicking cans and shit.
Yeah.
Like clearly not a crazy party.
Yeah, it turns out the party was a lie. The party was like really not going to be happening.
Yep.
And then once they get off the phone, Hunter turns to his buddy and is like, "Tonight we're going to kill the girls." So it's revealed that now Hunter's motive for getting these girls to come to the party was not that he wanted to sleep with them, it's that he wants to murder them. Sacrifice to the devil. Hunter and the friend show up at the gas station. They kind of get the girls alone in separate rooms.
Yeah.
And
sorry, is the Satan worship thing related to the main like stuff later?
No.
Sick.
Yeah. It's just like a little, little throw in.
It's just like a complete aside. Okay,
yeah,
cool.
And then
it's
it's revealed Hunter is a Satan worshiper, and he's trying to kill one of the Colleens, the Harley Quinn Smith Colleen. He's trying to kill her, and she threatens to stab him in the junk with a switchblade that her mom gave her, and she's like, "Get off me!" And so he does. And then in the other room, the other friend is trying to kill the other Colleen, and as both of these boys are trying to separate the girls and kill them, they start convulsing. We're about to hit a plot twist. They start convulsing and they fall to the ground dead suddenly, out of nowhere. And then what happens after that?
A sentient bratwurst comes out of their mouths, and it's not just any bratwurst; it's a Nazi bratwurst.
A Bratzi.
A Bratzi, played by Kevin Smith.
Yep.
It's you know, it's funny. It's funny, you know.
It's
and
so
me and
stupid.
Caroline were sorry, my wife, were saying wunderbar
they
for like a day after.
They don't know much German, the Nazi sausages, so they just go wunderbar.
Yeah.
It's really dumb. When the sausages crawl out of the mouths, obviously the boys are dead, and then the gas station starts to become flooded with Nazi sausages. It is as stupid as it sounds when we describe it.
Yeah.
The visual effects here are abysmal.
Yeah, they're really bad.
They're horrible.
And that's like, I don't know. Like, obviously, we'll probably get into it more after we get done describing the plot, but it's like, that's one of those things I feel like could have hit really well. Like, just make it look like good.
Yeah.
You know, make it look like, I know this is supposed to be corny, but like, if that looks good, at least it's like, I don't know, we're taking ourselves seriously somewhere. You know?
Yeah.
That was like the one thing to me. I'm like, there needs to be something for me to latch onto for this to actually be like a fun thing that I could recommend to people. Because like, obviously we know going into it, it's a B movie. So we're grading it on a scale, right? But to me, there's not like something endearing to latch onto. I don't know. It's just, it is like stupid and all over the place. And that's what's, I guess.
It's very clear that this is like, the Bratzi thing kind of feels like an inside joke that you don't quite get.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like someone behind the scenes
why?
is like, what? What if they were Nazi sausages? So the bratwurst thing is explained a little bit later, but we'll get into that.
But it's not like why they're sausages. Like, why?
No, the girls grab a couple of hockey pucks, and as the gas station's being flooded
Not
with
hockey pucks,
hockey sticks. Sorry, I don't sports.
Sports ball, go
ball?
team.
What are we gonna go make a field goal basket?
It's actually, it's not that we're anti-sports. We're anti-Canadian.
Yeah, fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Fuck Trudeau, dude.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, the governor. You
The
mean
governor
of Canada? Shout out, bro.
Shout out mental illness. As the place is being flooded with sausages, the girls use their powers of yoga and their coordination to kill a ton of these sausages. They're like hitting them with the hockey sticks. They're like squishing them, and they keep exploding. The sausages have sauerkraut for blood, so there's like bad.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah, it's supposed to be sauerkraut. It looks, the visual
it's
effects
like
look
this
horrible.
Fluorescent yellow. It doesn't look like. I mean, it's a movie. It's stylized. You got to make it like look like something.
It looks like the visual effects of this movie were like some guy's nephew had a computer and they're like, let him do it.
Yeah.
It looks really bad. But it's kind of an I don't say interesting. It's kind of a goofy scene. They're killing a bunch of sausages.
But that's what you could say about any part of this movie. It's like, oh, it's goofy. It's supposed to be goofy.
Yeah, it's just stupid.
Yeah, so it's yeah.
After they kill the sausages, they get arrested because the cops arrive and see that, well, presumably there's 2 dead boys and sauerkraut all over the place. And there's these 2 girls, so they're kind of pinned for the murder of Austin Butler's character and his friend. So now they're under arrest, and then Guy Lapointe, Johnny Depp's character, comes back, and we get a Jason Mewes cameo from Jay and Silent Bob and from Clerks, the blonde guy.
He's the policeman who lets him in. Yeah,
which I do love Jason Mewes.
We love a good callback to another movie.
Oh yeah, just the Kevin Smith universe.
Yeah,
and when Guy Lapointe comes into the interrogation room, he explains to the girls that they need to all like band together and like figure out this problem. And he totally believes them when it comes to the Bratzies because he has one in a Ziploc bag, which just kind of cracked me up. Yeah. Also, I should note, earlier in the film, they talk about how all the teddy bears, the Canadian themed teddy bears that are in the gas station have been disappearing. And all of the Bratzies are dressed in the little teddy bear outfits. Oh, those are their costumes.
Completely missed that.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
That's why they have those little outfits on. The Bratzies have been stealing the teddy bear clothes and wearing them.
You know what? Good.
It's so
Good.
dumb.
I like that, actually.
Guy Lapointe explains that the Canadian Nazis were original owners of the land that the gas station now sits on. And so the Canadian Nazis must be returning to seek vengeance and reclaim their land. And so they go, he breaks them out of the jail. They all go to the gas station, the 2 Colleens and Johnny Depp, and they find a secret doorway in a bathroom that leads to the underground Nazi lair beneath the gas station. They go down there and they meet the head Nazi scientist guy who has cloned these bratwurst Nazis himself.
Yeah. He's frozen himself in carbonite, so he's
100 years old.
Yeah, he's still, but he like something like the power went out or something, and it
they were rocking too hard upstairs on their instruments, and there's a power outage, which woke him up from his cryogenic chamber early.
He didn't have a backup generator.
No, okay. He was just like he wasn't planning ahead.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, so he's literally from the 40s. And is reawoken, and his bratwurst Nazi people clone army were not fully developed.
Yeah.
So they kind of have the mind of children, which is why they only go Wunderbar.
Well, and they're also like
tiny,
like a foot high. Yeah.
Which
again, why did he do bratwurst? Because German.
Yeah, of course.
All right. Yeah.
What else was it going to be? It's not going to be a hot dog.
Or, a fucking human DNA rather than, I don't know, like sausage. I mean, you know what? I'm being too, I don't know, picky, I guess.
We should have probably been stoned watching this movie.
Yeah, that would have definitely been helpful.
The Nazi keeps doing celebrity impressions during his big explanation of his grand scheme.
Well, it's probably because that actor, I assumed it was because that actor's German accent, he's like, I can't sustain this the whole movie. Let me just like do a different accent in every...
His German accent's really bad, but he does like an Al Pacino and a Sly Stallone impression, and they're really good.
Yeah.
Do you know what? That's not a half bad Al Pacino there.
Thank you.
One of my favorite lines is when that just nails home the fact that this movie feels like it was written by Kevin Smith in the voice of like teens, because that is a theme throughout this movie, is that it feels like a dad wrote this movie.
Yeah, that's one of my other big problems with it, but we can talk about that later.
It's 2016 when this movie comes out.
Yeah.
And Lily-Rose Depp has a line where she looks at either the Nazi or at Johnny Depp, and she goes,
This epic fail?
and calls one of them an epic fail. And it's like, okay, this movie's starting to show the...
What are we, bacon?
What, bacon? Oh, pupper.
Can I have cheeseburger?
It's so distinctly like Gen X trying to sound like millennial with a Gen Z.
Cue the Steve Buscemi clip.
How do you do, fellow kids?
What?
Yeah, it feels very on the nose, like dad wrote this for sure.
Yeah. And the kids gave no notes.
They were like, no, we say this.
Yeah,
we drop epic fail casually.
They probably don't know how real kids talk either.
No, 'Nepo babies. Yeah.
Jesus.
But yeah, That's so extreme. The Nazi shows that he has made this like flesh golem like beast that the little bratwursts are going to operate to like wreak havoc on the town.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we can kind of say, long story short here, the girls use their powers of yoga to beat up the flesh golem.
Yeah.
And
sure.
There's like a combat scene, and
I honestly don't remember anything about that. I don't know how I'm like just zoned the fuck out for the last like 10 minutes of this movie. I mean, there is a funny little bit that I like, which is probably just because they put him on wrong, but in every shot, Johnny Depp's moles are in a different spot.
Yeah.
Which I think they probably just forgot and like put him on wrong, and they're like, oh,
he also gets a lot more of them, which I like. I thought that was funny.
Yeah, that's good.
They use their powers of yoga to beat up the flesh golem and defeat the Nazi, and then we cut to the kind of happy ending, which is now they are back in the yoga studio with Yogi Bear, and they're doing yoga again, and all has returned to peace in the town.
Yeah.
And then they are rocking out over the end credits, singing the Canadian national anthem, but rock and roll. And that's the plot of Yoga Hosers 2016, starring Harley Quinn Smith and Lily-Rose Depp.
I'm not even supposed to be here today!
Don't you move, you yoga hosers!
This is so basic. This is beyond basic.
Again, one of the biggest problems for me with the movie that keeps me from like it being an enjoyable experience is like, and maybe this is on me because like I was expecting it to be like a super bad type thing, and one of the like the most endearing aspects of that movie is like the characters. Like they're endearing, like you like their relationship, they behave like real people, or they at least like have dialogue like real human beings. And there was not really anyone in this movie that had that, especially the two girls that like you could maybe make them like the straight man character, where like we were able to identify with these people, or at least like Lily-Rose Depp or Kevin Smith's daughter, Harley Quinn, whatever. Did he name her after?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, he named her Harley Quinn Smith.
Crazy, dude.
Dude, he's a nerd. He's a comic book nerd.
I know, but that's her life, man. That's crazy. She's not a dog.
I think it's a cool name.
And
sure. I thought this was a good movie. You can quote me on it. I liked Yoga Hosers, and I know we disagree on this, but
that's fine.
I'm so excited about this because this is the first time we both have had a different opinion on a movie. So I want to explore that a little bit.
We've both been wanting to find a hidden gem, and to me, this is not it.
And to me, this is a hidden gem.
Yeah.
Because I really expected this to be much less enjoyable.
You know what? I'll give it like a, somewhere between like Dumpster Fire and So Bad It's Good. I'll give it that, because there are some legitimately funny moments, like, as stupid as the bratwursts are and as bad as it looks, it's like they're silly. That's fun.
Them saying wunderbar and like running around is funny.
And Johnny Depp's character, not to say anything about Johnny Depp as a person, but his character's funny.
They added a set of testicles right under my nose. You see that?
I think the curve I'm grading this on is, one, I'm not trying to just like, ride Kevin Smith, but like I do enjoy his particular brand. I don't generally enjoy stoner humor. Like the Harold and Kumar kind of brand of comedy, I'm not a big fan of. The like I do enjoy movies like Pineapple Express and like the more I do enjoy Seth Rogen movies a lot.
Okay. But that's my point with those, is like those movies like Harold and Kumar, at least in the first one, I don't remember the subsequent ones, but they feel like real people. Like even though they're like talking and like all the stuff around them is like, fantastical and like larger than life, if they feel like two like identifiable characters that we can kind of latch onto, and I feel like that was what was lacking in Yoga Hosers.
Yeah, I can see that. I think the movie to me they were really good B-movie characters. I think if I was comparing, the Superbad to me is one of the greatest comedy movies ever made.
Yeah.
It's like I've watched that movie so many times, and every time I see it, I laugh so hard at certain point. Like the moment when Jonah Hill sees the girl, the large-chested woman, and he says,
I gotta catch a glimpse of these warlocks. Let's make a move.
So he describes breasts as warlocks. Like that level of writing, like that is obviously McLovin. But then we have to intercut. Just I know now that we have a small platform, I have to shout out my favorite moment that my wife and I still quote from Superbad, just because we're on the subject. It's where Bill Hader, when he's the cop and he's making McLovin spread him next to Jonah Hill, like on the ground, like because he's gonna get arrested. And he goes, get closer to him. Pretend he's your sister with a little picture.
Pretend he's your little sister with the picture.
And that whole scene, that is the thing I think that is missing from Yoga Hosers for me. Even though I did enjoy the movie,
that's what I mean.
It doesn't have those belly laugh moments.
No, yeah.
It's more of a constant chuckle, I think. And like, what the hell am I watching?
To me, it's like, exactly. It's like, what the hell am I watching? It's like, oh, wow, this is like over the top stupid. Okay. That's funny, I guess. I don't know.
It's over the top stupid, but I think the thing that works about it is it does feel like it's in the same vein as like a more adult version of like a Spy Kids movie, if that makes sense. And there's a specific thing that I like about this movie. And if you get it, you get it. And if you don't, you don't. There's a brand of movie that I really enjoy. It has a singular vision of a very specific thing. It's uncompromising in that specific thing. And it doesn't try to appeal to anyone.
Yeah.
And I feel like a good example of that, even though it was very much mass market, it was when Robert Rodriguez made Spy Kids. And he had done a lot of not adult films. That sounds bad. He's done a lot of films for adults.
Yeah.
And was like, I'm going to make a movie for my kids, with my kids, have them collaborate. Same with like Shark Boy and Lava Girl.
Yeah.
And these are movies that to me, I really enjoyed as a kid.
And those have like a specific language as well. Like, you're watching one of those type of movies.
You could arguably say, not arguably, you could definitely say my entire heterosexual awakening was Salma Hayek and Spy Kids 3D in the movie theater with my dad with 3D glasses on.
I certainly did.
That's not what it was at all. It's a kids movie. It's just that like those movies are so like ingrained in my brain for this and like Spy Kids 3D and Shark Boy and Lava Girl are kind of objectively bad movies too, but I enjoyed them. And I think when I was watching Yoga Hosers, knowing that it's made with his teenage daughters for kind of a teenage audience, I'm like, this movie's not made for like adults. Yeah. It's made for like high schoolers who like.
You talking about Yoga Hosers or Spy Kids?
Yoga Hosers. I think it's made for like high schoolers, and I think it's made for like people who, I don't know.
Here's my problem. Again, my other problem with it, and it's something I thought about while you were saying that, is it is a B movie, and we've been saying that this whole time. It's like it's trying to be a B movie, but the thing is, like, the best B movies, as we found doing this show, like, they're the ones that are not trying to be a B movie. They're trying to be like something legitimately good, and they're fucking failing. They're falling flat on their fucking face. And this movie, it goes into it, and it's like watching, I haven't seen any of them, but it's like watching one of Tommy Wiseau's sequels after he did The Room. It's like, you know, like what audience you're trying to appeal to. You're trying to do like this stupid thing. You're in on the joke, or like Samurai Cop 2 that they did like 20 years later.
Yeah.
After you know what I mean?
I completely understand what you mean. Sharknado you're talking about, or like Velocipaster.
Yeah, exactly.
Those kind of like, it's low budget, we're making it intentionally bad. I don't think this movie is that for me.
Okay.
And I know we're not going to reach I'm not going to convince you this movie's good, but I want to describe the itch that it scratches. It's just earnest enough in its portrayal of the story that it doesn't ever dip into like Sharknado territory for me, because I don't know how, but it never quite gets there where it's like, oh, this movie's intentionally bad, because it doesn't feel like it's trying to be intentionally bad like a Sharknado. It just feels like a very earnest B movie. Like, hey, we're going to treat the like threats in the world with a level of seriousness. We're going to treat like the problems of the characters with a certain level of seriousness, but then also it's ridiculously absurd. And that's how it never becomes that for me, if that makes sense.
That's, you know what, like you said, we're not going to come to an agreement on it. I would say that it's to me, it doesn't take those things seriously. It doesn't take like the bratwurst Nazis or whatever. Like maybe the Austin Butler's characters, maybe if those were handled in a different way, or if like they were more of like a central villain, like they're like threatening enough. It's like an older high school guy who's like trying to sexually assault these girls. Like that's like a serious thing that maybe, as I'm saying it, would not be handled right in this movie.
Probably not the movie for it, but I hear what you're saying, though.
It's like that would have been like a legitimate, like serious thing that where this horror movie handles the horror in a serious way, where it's like, oh, that is scary, but then like we turn that on its head because like it's something, I don't know, they are actually just like doofuses. I don't know.
Yeah.
But ultimately, it comes down to personal taste. Like I think with any Kevin Smith movie, it's like you either are down for that or you're just not. And maybe I'm a guy with a stick up his ass who just can't enjoy a Kevin Smith movie. But
also I would say Kevin Smith movies are super different depending on which flavor of Kevin Smith you're getting. Like they're like Mallrats, Dogma, Clerks are in that like indie 90s like mumblecore genre, a lot of improv comedy, and I enjoy those movies. I think they're fun. I mean, I'm not like the biggest Kevin Smith fan on the planet, but like I definitely don't love like Chasing Amy or things like that, but I think like Dogma does a really effective job at like poking fun at religion, and like Mallrats like really perfectly encapsulates like a certain vibe of like adolescence, and then Clerks is like a certain type of improv low budget comedy we hadn't really seen before. And like all of these are interesting movies.
Yeah.
And
I haven't seen any of them, but I know a lot about them.
They're all good for what they are, but it's like none of them are going to be the movie that I look at and go like, oh my gosh, I have to turn on this excellent movie. I think the thing that I am drawn to with Kevin Smith movies is it's like there's always an aspect to them. It's like it's unique. It's its own thing. It's not trying to be super marketable. It's going to find its audience or it's not. And he just kind of does his own thing. And to me, that's kind of what this was. And so I enjoyed it.
Yeah. No, I mean, personal taste. You know what I mean? That's perfectly fine. You know.
All right. Well, what will we rank these?
Oh, definitely dumpster fire for me. I mean, I know I said earlier, like somewhere in between. Maybe, like I said, there's some funny moments, but ultimately dumpster fire. Go ahead, say it.
Hidden gem.
All right.
But also, I want to give a caveat.
You popped the hidden gem cherry.
I popped the hidden gem cherry on the show. I enjoyed Yoga Hosers. I would probably watch it like with my brother or anybody I know who's like into this kind of dumb shit. It's super dumb, and I don't know that I would recommend. Like, if you're watching it right now and you're like, oh, they've like mentioned Superbad and they've mentioned these other movies, it's not as funny as that.
It's not those.
It's so
It's
dumb.
definitely not.
I turned it on. My wife was in the kitchen cooking dinner. I was scrolling my phone. I had Yoga Hosers on, and every time I looked up, and because I'm scrolling my phone because I'm making notes for the show, obviously, but every time I look up at the screen, there's something else that I'm looking at going, what? And it was an experience for me. It was an enjoyable sit down, and it never overstayed its welcome. It was an hour and 20 minutes.
That's true. It is shorter. I like that.
It's short.
I like
it's
that.
to the point. It's stupid.
There's some movies on here we've watched that are like over 2 hours. And I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I mean, and it was never boring to me.
I'll give it that. I will give it that.
Yeah.
It's
If I paid money to see this movie in the theaters, I might not have such a fond.
Do we want to talk about the Nepo babies of it all?
I think we should save that for the Patreon. Let's do a Patreon discussion on Nepo babies. So if you enjoyed this episode, go check us out on patreon.com/bignamebadmovie, where all the juiciest, spiciest, too hot for television content is stored on
Sexy
Patreon.
content, just
It's
full hog.
Thank you guys for watching this episode.
Like and subscribe, please. Comment. Let us know if there's a movie you want us to talk about. YouTube.com/bignamebadmovie.